Hi, I'm Dan Clark and welcome to Upscale Kitchen Refinishing here in Boise, Idaho. And today I want to show you a really cool finish. It's an antique white with a glaze. And I just want to mention there's a couple techniques that I use because of my 32 years of experience that make it really easy and really make it look professional. It'll set you apart from everybody else. So hey, if you want to learn how to do this, follow me to the shop. I'm going to show you how to do an antique white. And this is just an old white door with some Van Dyke glaze around it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this white because it's got a white background and I'm going to paint it white with white lacquer with my gravity feed here. And we're going to go through the same process with the white. We're going to have to scuff it lightly and then we're going to put a couple coats of paint on it and then we're going to put the glaze. And I want to show you how to do an antique white with glaze. Alright, so we'll just take this sample. And once again, we sand it with a 220 grit. As you can see, it's that really nice cabinet paper, 220, that you get at Home Depot. It's yellow. And you want to make sure you scuff it, get the sheen off there. Same with here. Scotch-Brite is. You can do you do the profiles. Again, this is like a 220 grit, the red Scotch-Brite. You get that at Sherwin. And the same thing, you just make sure to take that sheen off, you can probably see. And but for right now, we're just going to use the gravity feed. Blow it off. Spray the edges. Like so. And then a coat over the face. Now, as you can see, that's pretty good paint because that's one coat over the top and it covered all that black. Usually it takes two coats of paint, but I make my own paint. But normally you just get the white paint at Sherwin-Williams, or you can even use primer. Primer covers real good, you just have them tinted a little bit to make it antique white. So that's white. You can see how nicely that laid down and how nicely that's covered. And now I'm going to show you how to put the glaze on next. We have a real thin down glaze, oil-based glaze, because oil won't bite into this. And I'm not one of those persons that likes to just dip my rag in and wipe it all over, and there's a much better way of doing it, and this is the way I do it. I take this brush here and I dip it in about halfway. As you can see, it's pretty wet, but I dry it out. I take it in a rag and I squeeze it like that. And then I come over to my sample and I put some nice lines in it like this. You could probably see them in there a little bit. Just really nice ones. I'll make it a little bit wetter so you can see a little more. I won't quite dry it out so much. But you can kind of see I'm going to put some lines across here. And I try to go as straight as I can. Like so, and I stop at the joint there, right here, the seam, and the same thing here. Put some lines in there, okay, and the same way here. Kind of see the lines. I know what you're thinking. It doesn't look very pretty. Now we're going to do the same thing here on the middle flat surface, and I'm going to do this laying down. But basically, it's nice and straight. Don't let your arm do this where you're coming down like this. You want to go nice and straight when you're doing just kind of antiquing. So you see I got the streaks started right here at the line and I cut it in here. You don't want to have them overlap where it looks sloppy, where these are coming out over here and this is crisscrossing. You want it to actually stop right there and right here, same as up here, and it makes for a nice picture. We've got the glaze on there, and as I've said, it probably doesn't look that pretty to you right now. You can see the streaks and they're kind of loud and they kind of jump out at you, but I'm going to show you how to, a trade secret. One of Dr. Dan's trade secrets here, and how to make this absolutely beautiful. And how we're going to make it beautiful is this right here. This is that red Scotch-Brite, that same sanding Scotch-Brite. It's 220. And sometimes if you have an older piece, it actually works a little better than a newer piece. But what we're going to do is just rub over these, and we're going to soften them up. Like, see how strong that is? We're going to just soften all these up. I'm just rubbing really light. Okay? And then we're going to come down here same way. Just kind of soften that up. Same here, all four corners. And the same with the center panel. Nice and straight though. You don't want to get, just kind of softening them up. Now don't worry if you've taken too much off, or it doesn't matter, because I'll show you why. Dust it off a little bit. You could always just add a little bit back. Again, dry it really good. And then you can come back if you feel like you took a little too much off, and you could just add real light this time. I don't know if you can see that. Same with here. Okay, and you got that there. Now, just kind of look it over, make sure your seams are nice and straight so you don't have any overlapping. Now you're ready for a top coat, and with all glazes, you always want a top coat. You got to top coat over them. You got to kind of seal them in. So I use my big gun on this. Blow it off. Same thing, spray the edges. And there you have an antique white with a glaze. Isn't that beautiful?